integration of cutting-edge technology. Experience the future of connectivity, effortless and intuitive, making content creation effortless. Unlock the transformative potential with Zazmic. With a global force of 450 experts across 50+ countries, we excel in DevOps, AI/ML, migrations and cloud infrastructure. Top-notch certifications back our suite of services led by Google Cloud Premier Partnership. Revolutionize your business today with Zazmic. Seamless integration of cutting-edge technology. Experience the future of connectivity, effortless and intuitive, making content creation effortless. Unlock the transformative potential with Zazmic. With a global force of 450 experts across 50+ countries, we excel in DevOps, AI/ML, migrations and cloud infrastructure. Top-notch certifications back our suite of services led by Google Cloud Premier Partnership. Revolutionize your business today with Zazmic. Seamless integration of cutting-edge technology. Experience the future of connectivity, effortless and intuitive, making content creation effortless. Unlock the transformative potential with Zazmic. With a global force of 450 experts across 50+ countries, we excel in DevOps, AI ML, migrations and cloud infrastructure. Top-notch certifications back our suite of services led by Google Cloud Premier Partnership. Revolutionize your business today with Zazmic. Seamless integration of cutting-edge technology. Experience the future of connectivity, effortless and intuitive, making content creation effortless. Unlock the transformative potential with Zazmic. With a global force of 450 experts across 50+ countries, we excel in DevOps, AI ML, migrations and cloud infrastructure. Top-notch certifications back our suite of services led by Google Cloud Premier Partnership. Revolutionize your business today with Zazmic.
Hey everyone, welcome. We're really glad that you're here. A few quick intros. I'm Sean Wilkerson. I lead AI, cloud, and cybersecurity solutions here at Zazmic, and I've got JJ with me today. JJ is an expert in building data analytics products utilizing AI. Before we kick things off, please snap a quick picture of the QR code that you see. That's where you can drop any questions or schedule a call with our team to set up a Google-funded analytics workshop. In this workshop, JJ and the team will dive into your specific use cases, into your actual business data, and pull actionable insights you can use right away. You can also drop questions in the Q&A block at the bottom of the streaming screen. I want to set some context. If you've been paying attention to what's happening in AI over the past 6 to 12 months, you know things are moving fast, like uncomfortably fast. And the reason we put this session together is that we're seeing a real gap opening up. The gaps between companies that are leveraging new capabilities and companies that are still running the same playbook from 2 years ago. The purpose of this webinar is to bring awareness to the shift and the opportunity that comes with it. For those of you who are not familiar with Zazmic, we're a Google Cloud Premier Partner headquartered in San Francisco, California. We've been in business for about 13 years. We have around 425 engineers and 12 years of AI experience with more than 500 customers. We're not just a startup guessing at this stuff. We've been building and deploying data infrastructure at scale for a very long time. That's the foundation everything's built on today. All right, JJ, let me hand it over to you. But here's the question I think everyone in this room is asking themselves. We've all heard the AI hype, but when it comes to retail analytics specifically, what's actually changed? Like, what can we do today that generally we could not do a year ago?
Thank you, Sean. Thanks for setting the stage with that wonderful question. Hello, everyone. Sean, the question that you asked is exactly the one we should be asking. Honestly, it's the reason why we created this webinar. Here's the short answer. A year ago, AI was mostly great at working with general information like summarizing what's on the internet, drafting emails, or helping create documents. Today, AI can understand your business context and think alongside with your data, and that's a fundamental shift. It's not just answering the question you asked anymore. It can surface insights you didn't even realize you should be looking for. What I mean by that is we've crossed a threshold where AI can reason across multiple systems, understand context like seasonality and benchmarks, and proactively flag issues before they show up in your dashboards. I spent the last 2 decades building large-scale data analytics platform of petabyte scale, building machine learning models that power intelligent applications and customer experiences. And what I've been most obsessed with lately is this convergence of AI and AI reasoning and business data, because what's become possible in just last few months is genuinely different from everything I've seen in my career. So today I'm going to show you what this looks like in practice. We'll start with the core analytics area every retailer needs to get right. Then I'll show you where traditional tools are falling short. And finally, we'll get into the technology that's changing the game with a live demo so you can see it working in real time. So let's start with the fundamentals. When we talk about retail analytics, it generally comes down to few core areas. First, acquisition. How people find you and what it costs to bring them in. Think where your traffic comes from and where your ad spend is paying off. The next section is conversion. What happens once they land on your website or walk into your store? Are they buying? Are they dropping off at checkout? Are they coming? Are they adding more items or just one? Then you have retention. Do they come back? Are you building repeat customers, or are most people one and done kind of customers? Product is another big one, which items are truly performing well and which ones only look good because of discounts or seasonality or one big promotions that you're running. Then there is profitability, because sales alone doesn't mean much if shipping, discounts, returns, or cost of goods are wiping out your margin. And the last category is predictions, where you look for what is going to happen, what demand is coming, what trends are showing up, the risk that are around the corner that you should watch for. Here is the part most teams struggle with, right? These aren't separate buckets, they're connected. Customers you acquire affect how well you convert. Product you push affects whether people come back. Returns and discounts affect your real profit. And all of that changes what you should predict and plan for next. So the real challenge isn't tracking these 6 categories. It's understanding how they influence each other and spotting the chain reactions early as possible. Most traditional analytics tools don't do that well. They show you numbers, but they don't connect the story across the business, because those tools don't have any intelligence, right? Most of them are beautiful visualizations tools to show pretty charts, and that's where things break down. If you're running your retail business today mostly on traditional dashboards, there's a good chance that you have some blind spots. Not because your team is smart, but because dashboards that you're building are usually built to report what happened, not to explain what is happening in your business. Let me explain that with a few examples, right? These may or may not match exactly for your business, but I want to show these as a kind of gaps that I see all the time. First, in the category of acquisition, your CAC looks fine on the dashboard, but still be off sometimes by 15 to 30%. Why? Because many CAC reports don't show full account of returns or fraud or chargebacks. They just look at the cost of acquiring a customer and their initial purchase, right? Not what is happening afterwards. So a customer that looks like they cost you like $40 to acquire might actually cost you $55 once you include return shipping and processing and things like that. Second, in the category of churn and retention, most churn metrics show up very late in the dashboard. By the time they show up in your dashboard, they're already churned, right? They're not coming back. There's no early warning or signals that you can see or an advice that you can get from these tools to watch for these churn patterns. In the category of conversion drops, dashboards are good at telling you what conversion dropped when, but they don't usually tell you what is driving those drop. What device, or is it a particular channel, or is it a particular page on your website? Dashboard doesn't connect those dots, it just reports the outcome. And the last one, to predict the product performance, your dashboard may be showing a top seller. By revenue, it can look like a real good product, but if that product has high return rate or low margin, it might actually be losing money. Once you factor in return, shipping, restocking, and refunds, some so-called best sellers that you have are secretly your worst performers. And they still show up as top products on your dashboards because dashboard doesn't have the intelligence if it's not already coded into them. So the problem isn't the dashboards, they're okay, but the problem is they often give you a clean looking summary without hiding the real drivers or connected story.
That's a really uncomfortable realization for a lot of teams, I think, because they're making decisions based on these numbers every single day.
Exactly. That's the whole point. It's not that dashboards are useless. They're not. They have some use, but they are built to report what happened using rules someone coded into them. So somebody has thought through the patterns. They're trying to put the code for that pattern into the dashboard so that you can see it. Dashboards don't tell you what you're missing. They don't adapt when your business changes, right? You publish a dashboard, your business can change after that, which is not visible to the dashboard. And in 2026, that difference matters because the team that can spot problems early and connect the dots fast will lead the market, and the teams that can't will fall behind. So everything we just talked about, the blind spot in CAC, churn, conversion, and product profitability happens because dashboards are static. They show what you already decided to measure in ways you coded in the dashboards months ago. They don't notice what changed across systems, and they don't connect the cause and effect. What we did here is we built an analytics agent, something thinks much more like a strong human analyst using Google Cloud technology. You see it in action in a few minutes when we show the demo, but first I want to take a minute to explain the idea behind how it's built. Think of it as 3 layers of intelligence, a stack of intelligence. Each layer fixes a specific gap in the analytics space. Let's zoom into the first layer because that's where most of the real leverage comes from, getting all your business data in one place. Most retailers don't have one view of the business. They may have a one view dashboard, but that's coming from disconnected data sources. They have pieces of the business in different systems, ads in one place, orders in another, returns somewhere else, inventory in another place. and dashboards usually just report each piece separately. When you consolidate all of that into a single data platform like BigQuery, something important happens. You don't just get cleaner insights, you also get new context by connecting those dots. Because now you can connect things that were disconnected before, like you can tie the ad spend to actual net revenue after returns and refunds, not just orders. You can link inventory positioning to conversion drops and see when marketing is working, but you simply run out of stock. You can connect shipping delays to cancellation and repeat purchase rates instead of guessing that could be the reason. In other words, the platform doesn't just store data, it lets you build a connected story of the business. That's what creates a real insights, not just dashboards, but more relationship between the signals that you have in your business data. And once all those signals are in one place and updated continuously, it becomes possible for the next layer to do something dashboard can't. Understand what changed across whole system, not just inside one report. Now, layer 2 is your Gemini reasoning model. The key point is it's not just a language model anymore. It's a reasoning engine. It can actually work the problem the way an analyst would think about your business. It can understand your context, like seasonalities or promos that you're running, or typical patterns that you have in your business. Form a plan on what data you should look at for a specific analysis, or write code like SQL queries or Python code and pull data from BigQuery and interpret that output and detect patterns from that output. That's a big shift. Gemini helps you go from reporting to reasoning. One important point here, Gemini is the brain, but you still need a structure around it to make it reliable for business analytics. That's what an agentic framework, the third layer, gives you. In simple terms, an agentic framework is like giving Gemini a repeatable analyst playbook to follow every single time. Without that structure, you just upload few files and say, analyze this. You often get inconsistent steps from one question to the next, or sometimes confident guesses, or what you call as hallucination, when the model doesn't even have evidence. The agentic frameworks acts like a guardrail in most the behavior. It makes the behavior more deterministic and repeatable. For example, using an agentic framework, you can follow a structured workflow using Gemini models like validated data, segment my data, compare my data with a different set of data, or isolate drivers and explain the results. And it's a repeatable workflow that you can do for every single analysis. And this matters because decisions you're making with these analysis are high stakes decisions, and you want trustworthy, reliable outputs. And the structure itself is not rigid rules engine. It's flexible. It adapts to the question. So it's basically, you're not defining a specific rule. You're giving a structure like a human data analyst would have in his or her head.
Well, let me ask you something, JJ. I think a lot of people hear AI analytics and they just think chatbots and writing SQL. And there are about 50 vendors selling that right now. What makes this actually different?
That's an important distinction. Most people lump everything together as analytics or AI analytics. There's a lot of noise out there, but there are actually 3 different layers or levels that we are seeing, which is quite different in practice, right? Your first level is your traditional BI tools. Some of them claim that they have agentic AI solutions now, but what they really do is they are building a dashboard that gives you visibility to your metrics, but they're static. Someone had to decide what to measure and how to show it. So you're most likely looking at the past, and you have to do interpretation yourself. Dashboard doesn't tell you what you missed. It only shows what was built into it. Now, the next level is AI chatbots on top of your data. This is where you can type questions and it can pull data and answer, often write SQL behind the scenes. That's more like it's a translator of natural language to SQL code. But this is still reactive. It only responds to what you asked. Some of you don't think. Some of you don't think to ask right questions. The issues that you don't know stays hidden, and without the structure, the answers can be generic or inconsistent. The third level is what we are talking about today is the strategic intelligence, right? This is where the system doesn't just answer questions, it watches your business and brings you what matters. It automatically spots patterns, risk you didn't know to look for. It tells you, here's what you need to see. And it shows the evidence so you can trust the insights that it's showing you. In simple way, you can think about it, a traditional BI like dashboards in your car, you can see speed and fuel, but you're still figuring out everything yourself, like when to refuel, how fast you need to go. AI chatbots are like able to ask your car questions, helpful, but only if you ask the right questions. And strategic intelligence is like having a co-pilot with you, always watching and catching issues early, like when you should refuel, or what speed you need to travel to reach the best mileage, and pointing to what matters before it becomes a problem for your business. And that's a shift we focused on, from here is a dashboard, go figure it out, to here is what you need to see.
And just to be clear, this isn't a hypothetical. You can show a working product, right?
Yes, that's what we are going to do next. All right, let's get out of the slides and see the demo. Let's start the demo. This is Fig, an analytics agent built entirely on Google Cloud Stack. Let me log in. This instance of Fig is connected to the data for a fast-moving consumer goods retail business. They sell through 4 different channels: physical stores, online, vending machines, hotel and hospitality partnerships. Here's the first thing to notice. I haven't asked Fig anything yet, but you can see it already detected some interesting patterns in the business data and came back with potential prompts to explore those patterns further. This is the first difference between an agentic analyst and a traditional tool. A dashboard waits for somebody to build it. A conversation analytics tools wait for you to ask a question. Fig looked at the data on its own and said, here are some patterns worth investigating. Let me click on one of these prompts, growth opportunities by channel. Now behind the scenes, Fig is now going to do its own data processing, deciding which data sets to query for this prompt, what time period, what dimensions to look for. And I didn't have to write any program or configure any tools like you have to do it in traditional dashboard tools. Here is the insights it came back with. Online sales grew by 56.3% in the last 90 days compared to the prior 90 days, outpacing all other channels. That's interesting. Hotels and hospitality increased by 54.3% and retail stores increased by 54.1%. Notice what just happened. I clicked one button. Fig came back with not just the data, but an interpretation on how to understand that data, which channels are growing, and by what percentage. I can ask a follow-up question by clicking one of these suggested buttons. Fig already anticipating what I might want to know next, or I can type my own questions. Let me type one. Which sales channels are growing fastest and which are underperforming? Show me the true customer acquisition cost by channel, but factor in returns and refunds, not just the raw marketing spend. This is the kind of question that exposes a dashboard blind spot or limitations. A traditional dashboard would show you CAC as marketing spend divided by new customers. That's a clean number, but it's incomplete. It doesn't account for cost of return and refunds that those acquired customers generate. This prompt asks Fig agent to connect marketing data with returns and refund data, something most dashboards never do because they live in different dashboards unless somebody write the logic to connect them together. here's the insights at a glance. We already knew that online sales grew by 56% in the last 90 days. Let's look for CAC. Okay, true CAC is consistent across channels. After adjusting for returns and refunds, all channels have true CAC around $51, indicating similar efficiency of customer acquisition. So these are the kind of insights that you can get easily using natural language, where you're connecting different topics of your business data and then finding the patterns across them. Let me ask my next question. This prompt is asking Fig to do something very hard with traditional BI. I'm asking to analyze two separate problems, abandonment and returns, and then look for overlap. That requires cross-referencing different data sets for these two problem spaces and come back with any possible overlap or relationship. Okay, here's what it came back with. It shows what's the highest cart abandonment reason and what's the highest refund reason. But here is the most interesting part, right? Hotels and hospitality leads in both lost sales from cart abandonment and total refunds. Products like Cottonelle toilet paper, Aquafina water, and Pepsi Cola are among the top refund drivers, suggesting high return rates for everyday essentials. So Fig connected the dot and found that hotels and hospitality isn't just the most expensive channel for abandonment, but also most expensive for refunds. And flagged this pattern explicitly. Now let's look at customer behavior, purchase behavior. So I'm going to ask another question. Analyze our repeat purchase rate and customer retention patterns. Which customer segments are most loyal versus one and done? Here is a positive insights. Every customer segment has 100% repeat purchase rate with an average of nearly 2 orders per customers. The bad news is that customers who've got the highest average orders are at risk segment. So there's something that you might want to investigate further. Okay, I'm going to ask one more question, and this time I want to kind of do a comprehensive analysis of marketing channel. So here I'm doing a full profitability. So here I'm doing a full profitability breakdown across channels, looking at all the cost items and the revenue to find out the true net contribution by each channel. So this is interesting. So we saw vending machines was not the channel with the highest gross revenue. Despite not having the highest gross revenue, vending machines delivered the highest net contributions after accounting for discounts, returns, and marketing spent. Hotels and hospitality has the lowest net contribution due to the highest discounts and substantial marketing spend despite solid gross revenue. So this is the power of an agentic analyst. So let's take a step back and summarize. Across these questions, it pulled data from different data sets, computed various metrics, connected patterns across abandonment, returns, retention, product margins, or channel profitability. And at every step, it told me more than what I asked for. It gave me the insights rather than just the data. And these are actionable insights that I can then take further actions to help with my business operations. So imagine what a tool like this can do for your business, how it can help you with your day-to-day operations to be more data-driven or insights-driven for your business operations. That's all for the demo. Let's get back to the slides. Thank you.
So JJ, let me bring it back to the big picture for just a second. You said at the top this wasn't possible a year ago. For the folks who are still on the fence, who are wondering whether or not it's the right time to move on to this, what would you say to them?
If you believe there is real advantage in getting a capability that gives you a competitive edge, then this is one of those moments to pay attention. The advantage window is getting very small. What used to take years in technology shift is now happening in months. Here is why a year ago, AI couldn't connect to full story across your business data. Now it can. It can also watch your key metrics for you and flag issues early, like a sudden return spike or conversion drop on a particular device, or margins getting squeezed without you living inside, without you learning a complicated tool. You can now figure out all that using an AI agent. And that's a big shift. Before AI waited for you to ask the right question, now it can monitor continuously and come to you with what matters proactively. So the question isn't whether the technology is ready. I think it is ready. The question is, will you use it, or will you wait till your competitors use it first? Because the gap is already opening and it's growing fast.
And that's really the crux of it. This isn't something you have to figure out alone. We've built the practice, we've built the technology, and we've been deploying it with real retailers on real data. Now, if any of what JJ walked through today resonated, if you recognized your own blind spots, if you saw possibilities in the demo, we'll want to help you take the next step. Not a sales pitch, an actual working session where we look into your data, your questions, and your opportunities. For everyone on this webinar, and for those who qualify, we're offering a Google-funded AI analytics workshop. This is a hands-on session where JJ and the team will work with your actionable business data to surface actionable insights. No obligation, no commitment. Just a chance to see what it looks like with your numbers, your questions, and your blind spots. And I'll say this, the workshop alone is worth your time, even if you don't work with us past that, because at a minimum, you'll walk away understanding where your current analytics are lying to you. And that knowledge is valuable regardless of what you do next. So don't forget to snap a picture of the QR code and drop any questions you have. You can also book time on our calendars to chat about how your team can qualify for the Google-funded AI Analytics Workshop. I'll also be reaching out to you individually to connect and get help to set up time with our team. You will also receive a copy of the slide deck used in today's webinar, as well as the recording. I highly recommend taking advantage of this opportunity JJ and his team ran through a number of these workshops last year, and they've been really valuable for organizations looking to get practical, real world insights from their data. Thank you so much for joining the webinar today. We look forward to speaking with you in the future.
Thank you.